Hey everyone, and welcome back to Kharak Cup number 8. We're going to jump back into the semifinals right here between Sparrow and myself. And this is a match that's going to be difficult for me. Obviously, I've been rather tasked in my micro recently, like, you know, in the other matches in the tournament. And now I'm up against Sparrow again, who had beaten me in the qualifiers here. So, wasn't feeling particularly confident, and I was starting to get a little bit fatigued at this point. But I thought to myself, well, I know I can beat this guy. I've beaten him before. We'll, you know, just do our best and see if it works. I'm gonna try to start out with some 1 PC aggression here to slow down the rush. That's my first idea, but I had a couple of ideas coming into this series of like ways that I could try to beat it. One was of the 2 production cruiser Sandskimmer rush that should hit in front of his and take all the momentum out from under him. Another one was to try to do Honest Man's strategy, the 1 production cruiser Soul Chip rush, but I wasn't really feeling very confident with it just yet. So those were the ideas I had coming into it, but for now I'm going to go with the 1 production cruiser, you know, Sandskimmer aggression build that I'm very comfortable with because I'm very comfortable with it. And that's exactly why. And Sparrow, I wouldn't expect to see anything new from right here. He did do something pretty funny in the quarterfinals, but I imagine playing against me, he's gonna do his typical thing. And that does indeed seem to be the case right here. Sandskimmer fabrication just now coming out for him. I'm already going to be here, but by the time I get there, Sandskimmer fabrication will be finished to be able to produce off 2 production cruisers. So the idea here is to say, I have enough Sandskimmers that I can kill your guys as they're coming out of the production cruisers. Maybe I can slow down your timing to get up to a lot of Sandskimmers to the point where, you know, I can hold off your rush. And it's worked before. Actually, in the early days of Desert Kharak, I did a game with him and I beat him this way. As for Sparrow, the way he wants to hold this off is probably keep the production cruisers by the carrier, so that if I'm going to fight his Sandskimmer, I have to do it underneath that carrier. Get to pick off a salvager here, which is no small thing. It's going to get taken out. Dual Sandskimmer's about to come out, though, and all of my Sandskimmers are pretty injured here, so they're going to have to hold off for a second. And Sparrow is going to try to immediately chase down my production cruiser. That's going to be his move right here. So I'm going to go for Sandskimmer armor, because that's going to be pretty important, obviously. And Sparrow not going for that himself. We're both going to try to micro to our best here. I'm up on the high ground position, so I should win this fight pretty nicely. And this guy, in fact, thanks to the dunes, is going to escape for some time, which draws some fire away from the other guys, who are the ones who are, you know, shooting at him, I guess. I'm going to want to get up to railgun fabrication as fast as I can. That was my thought here. And the dunes are really favoring me right here, so I'm able to hold off his rush for some time. But at this point, I really need to head back home and try not to, you know, get killed or anything. 1 extraction going to come down here, which is going to be very good for me. And I'm actually going to go for a Soul Chip fabrication. I don't remember doing this. What a choke. I don't think that's a very good move, but that's what I go for, so we'll see how it works out for me. Meanwhile, Sparrow now going to go up to Sandskimmer armor 1, and with his production, you know, being so much higher than mine, I'm not going to be able to fight him, so I'm going to get raiding so I can get away from him. And this actually is also kind of a questionable move. I think really in-game what I ought to do in this position is make another production cruiser, because part of the strength of this Sandskimmer rush build is that he's got more Sandskimmers than you. If I can just, you know, negate that strength by having another production cruiser making them, then I don't really even need to worry about his railguns. He'll have to go into assault railguns in that case, and assault chips will do just fine against that. Or I could go for railgun tech, which again I think would have been better, and then heavy railguns will chase him off. So I am going to go for that other production cruiser now. And I know where his army is, but if you look at the numbers here, you can't, I guess. What is this? So like 7 for me, and like 10 for him. That's quite a differential there, but hopefully, you know, my carrier being here will kind of turn the tides a little bit. One salvager getting injured, but I can pull him off, so he's going to be okay. I can run in there with my Sandskimmers too, and everything will be alright. He has not yet gone for his tech choice, and I noticed that he holds this off for some time. I think that's a good move, because he wants to, you know, see what you're going to do first. And seeing all those, you know, Sandskimmers right there, he is going to go for railgun fabrication. That's going to be his choice. He's going to want to stop me from extracting again, and that seems to be the idea over here. He's going to run over with those Sandskimmers. Meanwhile, 2nd production cruiser is out for me, and that's good. I'm also getting upgrades for those armored units already. And I think at this point I should just go for Sandskimmers. Especially because it's Sparrow, you know, like, you really think he's gonna let off the gas? Like, obviously he's gonna just attack and attack and attack. This here is also a questionable move. Obviously you can see where those guys are queued. Yeah, I mean, they can do damage back over there, but if my opponent has got railguns, I'll be in trouble. So yeah, I'm gonna choose to rethink that, which is good. They're gonna head over this way, and in fact, they're attacking the base runner. If I find out the production cruisers are here... Oh, but I don't. That's a little unfortunate. If I had found out they were there, maybe I could even have killed one of them, and that would have just completely shut it down there. So, definitely some possibility for, you know, like a game-ending move right there, but it's not going to be used, so that's a little sad to see, obviously. I'm going to get Sandskimmer damage, because obviously I want these guys to hold off those railguns. But this, once again, quite an aggressive move out in the middle of the map here. I'm not sure what I'm going to get from this, and there are quite a number of Sandskimmers back there, so that's dangerous. I see them moving now, so I know, oh dear, I'm out of position, but there's so many more of them, I think they can just come in and kill me here. And I think I'm really going to have to pay for being out of position right there. Either these guys are going to die on the way back, or I'm going to have some trouble back at home. And then refinery mode, that's not a bad move, because obviously you want your economy to grow more than your opponents in this scenario, but again, Sandskimmers would be better right here. And there I go again, moving back over to his carrier. It's just, the decision-making clearly isn't quite there, but... yeah, you know, I'm gonna see what I can do over here, but I mean, even the carrier powered up 1 is gonna be enough to slow me down quite a lot. I consider coming back, and I'm like, I really can't do that, can I? I mean, it's not gonna get anything done for me. And I think it's true. At this point, it was kind of too late, you know what I mean? I think I'm just so out of position, it's not really recoverable at this point. Doing good damage, mind you. Getting kills. But the positioning of the dunes here makes it very easy to be the aggressor. You can see that I'm kind of hidden behind this one, but I won't be if I move either way, which I kind of need to do to be able to, you know, defend my base or anything like that. I'm going to go for railgun fabrication too, because I recognize that I need that. But Sparrow's already got 4 of them. He has quite the lead. And at this point, Sandskim is going to start coming back. I do have the eco edge, but not enough to outproduce him. And the carrier can only tank so much damage, so it's really important that I get these guys over here then. And I think, honestly, this game was in a very good position until I started making all of these guys and sending the Sandskimmers off in that direction. Just with Sandskimmers, I could have held this off, but I chose not to do that, and I'm gonna pay for it. I do definitely have the upgrade lead here, but there's just so many more numbers for him. However, I'm gonna try to coordinate this push here. I'm moving out with the assault ships against the railguns too. But they're not going to make much progress, and I am going to pick off 1 heavy railgun. That's just obviously not enough. All the Sandskim is going to go down as well. I am still on a base here because of the refinery mode, but it's not looking good, is it? 1 heavy railgun on the way for me. But that ought to just get killed immediately. And the carrier is just going to start taking a bit more damage here with time. There's 6 of these boys now. They don't take prisoners. Sandskim is definitely going to take a lot of damage as they fight underneath this carrier, but they're still going to be able to pick off heavy railguns. His rails don't even need to do it. He can just use the Sandskimmers for that. Carrier now at about 30%. And yeah, at this point it looks a little bit grim beyond recovery, so I'm either going to surrender or just let him kill me. Not too really sure which. Yeah, there you go. One thing I gotta say about railgun rushing, it's a lot of fun. If you've never tried it before, you gotta try it, because yeah, it's very exciting. But it's counterable, and I think you can see from this game some things that I could have done that would have protected me from this. I probably would have been fine. I saw it too. I noticed what it was, and so in the second map, which is going to be my map pick, Kalash Teeth, I'm going to see if I can mix it up a little bit. And you can see, by the way, the economy is better for me. But yeah, I need to make sure I've got those sand skimmer numbers so that I can do things like what I was trying to do in this game. And going for assault ships, excuse me, was also kind of an odd choice based on what I know about Sparrow. That's probably just not going to work for me very well, is it? So that was probably not the best move either. But here we go on Kalash Teeth, and things are going to be different this time, I said. My plan here is to do kind of a similar opening. So I'm going to move out with that one production cruiser, but I'll try to kind of bait Sparrow into chasing my units back over this hill, where I'll have a second production cruiser making more sand skimmers and see if I can kind of take the momentum away from him there. It's kind of an interesting plan. It has a lot of steps in it, so there's a lot of ways it could fail, but I was feeling pretty confident about it. Scanner going to go up in this location. It's a nice one just to see if there are flanks coming around, but I don't know. Against Sparrow, I guess it doesn't really matter, does it, where you put the scanner, because you're going to know what he's got, and you're going to know where. That's definitely not the problem. So sand skimmer fabrication finished. I'll begin producing those pretty much immediately out of this production cruiser. Just like I mentioned with Discara in the last semifinals game, you'll notice people move their carrier like I'm doing right here because they want the salvager to come out on the back end so that it's a lot faster for him to get over there. And then of course you can position him a little bit so that these guys can all drop off from where they are, and then these guys don't have to move as far, so it increases the efficiency of the long distance mining by just a touch. Sparrow's second production cruiser coming out pretty soon, and this time he's chosen... No wait, that's not true. I was like, that's a sand skimmer he's making. No, he doesn't even have the tech yet, so it's unlikely. To say the least. I'm also going to go for sand skimmer armor, level 1. And pretty quickly I'll begin making a production cruiser here. I think I save up for it just about now. And this, my friends, is a very exciting game. I don't want to spoil what happens in it, but it's quite a fun one. So Fleet Cap 45 coming out from Sparrow now, and from me as well, it looks like. And then once again, the idea here with like the momentum is I want to hold him in space as long as I can, because if we take the fight right now, I'll win. So he wants to avoid that meat grinder effect build up a little bit before he fights me. Waiting for those 600 CUs. The eternal struggle, am I right? Anyway, production cruiser's out now. Or, well, I mean, it's not out, but it's going to be. It's on the queue. This fight is going okay for me as well. I actually managed to get one and not lose any. He may come back and chase him down, but we'll have to see. With Base Runner heal getting used here as well, I should be able to stay here for a little bit longer. But the Base Runner and his artifact probably will not survive this. And I'm going to go for railgun fabrication this time, which, like I mentioned last time, is probably the better move. And I'm still managing to trade rather effectively despite definitely not having the numbers advantage right here. But now that there's two production cruisers out on the field, or at least momentarily, I should be able to rectify that. Sparrow and I are both getting railgun fabrication at about the same time as well. And so this looks, this looks pretty good for me. I can probably hold him off in this scenario. It shouldn't be a problem. Having the armor upgrade as well is always nice. And if we're fighting underneath the carrier, that ought to just give me an advantage in this regard. Once railguns come out, we both are going to want to make probably one heavy railgun, just so that when the opponent makes his, we can try to kill it, right? Because we kind of know what's going on there. And obviously, if I let him have the railguns, that is going to be a problem because this carrier's got nowhere to run, so... Railgun fabrication is finished now, so it's about time to build those. I'm noticing at about this point that he does have armor, so I can't rely on an upgrade edge to be able to beat him like this. Because I don't have it, right? So I need to play a little bit smarter, keep my sand skimmers alive. And he's gonna go actually for double assault railgun, which makes sense because to him he probably is thinking that I'm just using sand skimmers right here. First railgun gonna rear its ugly head right there, and he knows it's there. This is the ultimate counter to assault railguns, and so that shouldn't go particularly well for him. I gotta say, my focus fire not particularly good right here, but it's serviceable. And he's gonna go for that heavy railgun. That's obviously kind of a priority of his right now. But as a result, he's gonna run underneath the carrier with those sand skimmers. He's gonna lose quite a lot of them, and the numbers are probably gonna go almost permanently out of his hands right here. 2 assault railguns being here, though, he should be able to still fight my sand skimmers, but I can just make heavy railguns as well. He's actually going to get the first one, though, so I've got to say he's doing very well here in this early game scenario. Especially because, well, never mind, he's only got one guy fighting right there. Because I kept the pressure up, right? And that's one reason why you got to keep pressure on your opponent when you're doing this kind of thing. If I can stay up in these dunes, it's tricky for my opponent to take advantage of the assault railgun's range, because I can get up on top of him like this, and this is not good for Sparrow. No armor on these things, obviously. It's difficult to get the money for that tech, so they're both going to go down. And then I'm going to just focus down that heavy railgun. I know that I can make, you know, more sand skimmers, and if he tries to push me on a railgun, I've got my carrier. I'll be fine that way. And it's looking to me as though I've basically held him off here. Actually getting a little bit too aggressive, I think, with these heavy railguns here, and as you can see, one of them is going to start taking a lot of damage there. But once again, Sparrow chooses to stay and kill it. He's going to lose more sand skimmers for it. I still think it's worth it for him, but perhaps a bit less so, you know, like, than it could have been. But that was probably a mistake of mine. Just a small one, though. But let me tell you a big mistake, which I now commit, which is to think, oh yeah, I've beaten him, right? I've held off his rush, I'll be fine. No, you're never fine. You're never fine when you're playing against Sparrow, friends. If you take one thing away from this series, that's it. He's gonna come back. He's not gonna leave until he's either lost or he's beaten you. The rush does not end when you're playing with Sparrow. So I was kind of thinking, alright, transition into the mid-game now. What am I gonna need to do that? But that was kind of a little preemptive of me. And it's really interesting, I think, what he does to accomplish this. You can see he's going into assault ships now. He researched that tech, and he's going to mix in another unit into his unit composition. I think that's a really interesting idea. You know what I mean? Like, well, if at first you don't succeed, try something different, right? Which I think is a very... I think that's just like a good, you know, mantra for life in general, but especially for a railgun rush, you know. That sounds pretty good to me. And so I hear enemy armor inbound, I'm like, oh, he's put in assault ships. Well, is it going to work? I guess we'll find out, right? But I was a little bit nervous when I heard this, because I was definitely thinking that he was, like, backing away, and I was kind of getting comfortable. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm trying to save up for refinery mode right here, and I'm actually going to have the money in just a second. And I'm going to go for it. Refinery mode is probably a mistake here, because I'm quite comfortable that I'll be able to hold him off from, like, my main, but not from my second. And at this point here, I actually did feel a bit robbed about this. Look at these guys. What are they doing? They chose to, like, turn around there and not fight. In fact, this guy's literally not... He doesn't even know, man. And I think I would have been able to kill off these assault ships if it weren't for that. So I did kind of feel like I was a bit robbed there, holding off that second base. But still, it's kind of my fault for thinking I could back away from Sparrow. Or, sorry, that Sparrow would back away from me. He never will. That's, like, his thing. You know what I mean? So that was a bit cocky of me, perhaps. I am going to have refinery mode, though, so if I can hold him off of this second location, I should be okay. And 2 heavy railguns coming out here means good things for me. Once my eco can stabilize on 2 bases, I win. That's basically the way that this works. So if I can get into that scenario, I'm good. I need to recognize, though, he's got a heavy railgun here, and I need to target it immediately. But, ooh, railgun's getting out of position here, and now his heavy railgun targeting mine as well. And I'm not targeting it really particularly well. Missed a shot there as well. And suddenly I don't have that railgun majority again. And that's going to be a big issue for me. So I felt a bit silly for going for refinery mode there, because I'm obviously never going to be able to use it. It's too late to cancel that tech. I'm just going to have to deal with it. If salvagers begin to go down, the game is going to be over for me, and I recognize that. So I need to do everything I can to keep these guys alive. But his assault ships are going to go after my railguns here, which is very good. I think if he would have stuck on my salvagers there, perhaps he could have just won right then. But he does allow me to get through here, and now my sand skimmer is going to pick off all of these heavy railguns. I should be doing pretty well that way. Power Reserve 1 would be a good choice right here, but I was reluctant to get it because I felt like it was kind of a losing strategy. Oh dear, why am I staying with these assault ships? This is risky. Sand skimmers will be able to kill one, but now I no longer have that sand skimmer edge. I'm going to need to remake a lot of those. But I know what I need to do here. I'm not out of this just yet, and I didn't want to say I was out of it until I was all the way out. So we continue. Moving into the 10.5 minute mark here, and the rush is still going on. Which I think this is just like so indicative of like Sparrow, you know, like, yeah, 10.5 minutes in, I'm still rushing. Railgun's gonna kind of get fed in here piecemeal, which is not good, obviously. One of them gets taken out right there. I no longer have the railgun majority, so I need to fall back there, make sure I don't lose that guy. My sand skimmer's though definitely good in terms of upgrades. And you know, if I hadn't gotten refinery mode, damage 1 would be on the table. That would be very, very handy for me, so definitely paying for that tech right there. A little bit more than 700 CUs. Carrier will start to take some damage right here. I've got the power and the healing, but I can't tank that for too long, so I need to make sure that I can, you know, get rid of these railguns as fast as possible. I'm gonna try to dive in here with the sand skimmers. I'll take losses to those assault ships, but if I can get out of their range, maybe there's something I can do, maybe I can get around them. Looks like that's not going to be the case here, but he's not in range of my railguns, and I am in range of his assault ships, so I'm able to do some damage there. And now there's 3 railguns for me, but this one popping out right underneath his fire, so I'm going to lose that one. However, I do take out one of his, so in a way that was actually almost worth it, with that one railgun, like that one railgun coming out and dying instantly. And you know what I thought, kind of thinking about the game after it was finished being played? Range calibration, wouldn't that be huge right here? If I could like stand back there and have like on this high ground right here with my railguns on, and he cannot push me basically because I am in range and he's not. I'm gonna get railgun armor level 1. I think that's a nice move because sand skimmers have killed a lot of railguns, railguns have killed railguns. Railgun armor level 1 does a lot to help you in that scenario. Actually, armor 1 doesn't do much in the rail fight, but it does a lot, you know, against the sand skimmers, obviously. And I'm going to dive on here to try to take out some railguns, but that must have been a mistake. You saw how much I lost there. I didn't really gain anything. And I'm still down by 1 in terms of railguns here. Now these assault ships can start pushing, and if I focus on them, I'm going to lose my rails. If I focus on the rails, I'm going to lose my salvagers. This is a pretty bad scenario to be in. Fortunately, Sparrow doesn't capitalize on it particularly well, and I'm able to take out one railgun for nothing, essentially. And at this point, yeah, Power Reserve 1, that would have been a wise move. I think it's safe to say. But another railgun of Sparrow is going to go down here. And it continues, moving on to the 15-minute mark now, almost. Isn't this amazing? I mean, this doesn't happen every day. This does not happen every day. So I need to build up my sand skimmer army. I need to stop throwing them in front of these assault ships. It's not good for them. Again, if I had 700 CUs, think how many things I could do, you know? There's a lot more options when I don't have that refinery mode tech, but I've got it. I just have to live, you know, roll with that now. But I'm kind of content to build up here. I feel like I'm going to be fine. With that upgrade lead, I can even perhaps start pushing him off. And he's only got 2 heavy railguns there. He's going to make a 3rd now. But I've already got my 3rd out. And if I can just push him off the space, just for even a moment, and start mining off of that, I'm going to be totally fine. I'm actually fleet capped right here, which is a big issue for me. I mean, of course I'm fleet capped, it's me, right? But like, it's not really excusable. In this scenario, it's really going to hurt me, I think. And I think at this point, I'm pretty well covered against sand skimmers. I just need to have a lot more heavy railguns. But Sparrow's starting to add in a little bit more economy, you know, starting to fully, you know, fill out that last base right over there. I do need to get something done here. I can't just wait forever. And I think he's finally realized that. I think he's finally realized, you know, well, if I just wait here, I'll eventually get above him. So maybe I should just try that. Just look at the ground out here. Look how many shots have been fired in this area. It's actually insane. But yeah, range calibration. That would be a thing. That would really be a thing. You know, eventually we're gonna mine out our mains, actually. I didn't really think about that. Okay, so assault ship's gonna start going down right here. One railgun getting blocked by the carrier, which is quite messy. I'm gonna start taking the railgun more here, but I really need to back away, because the assault ships are now the target. If they get to the eco, everything's gonna fall down. And unfortunately, I'm still targeting railguns here as the assault ships get into the eco. Suddenly everything looks like it's falling apart. Salvager's gonna start going down right here. And once these go down, there's really no way to come back. And at that point, I knew it was game. So I'm gonna choose, I believe, to surrender at this point right here. Pretty soon anyway. Because yeah, like I don't even have the money to like make any more salvagers, so. Wow, I really stuck in it for a while. I don't know. You can tell it's over though at this point, right? I think this game is a real contender for the title of longest railgun rush ever. I know there was one with Discara in like Artifact Cup 40 or something like that went on for a really long time, but I think this one takes the cake, you know, 17 minutes of railgun rush. It's kind of crazy, actually. Could I have won it? Oh yeah, I certainly could have. I just had to not go for refinery mode like I did there. And again, I felt kind of cheated around here, like the way that this went down, but I still think, you know, that was my mistake to try to go for that second base already. If I could have just held off for a little bit longer, I would have been completely fine, so. That was a little bit disappointing for me. I knew I could have done better, but I still felt like I did alright in this tournament. I won't be moving on to the finals, but Sparrow will, and that will produce a game that should be very exciting. So, we'll have to catch you with that tomorrow. Till then, I will see you when I see you.